I'm busy with this. You take my glasses, you do it. A moment to discuss about E-drum. My custom Roland TD-30 E-drum kit. Rant about history and E-drums. We tried to make him stop, but SPD-11 Simmons kit. That if you have a bad idea, you must do it immediately. That's kind of like a philosophy. The money, getting daddy a new drum kit, yeah. And there's also this Finnish thing. I don't really recommend this as a way to finance it. Drums look stupid. The rack, drum rack is evil. Farmyard fence, cow fence, I don't like it at all. I have very rarely seen kind of like Roland E-drums on stands. One idea of getting also E-drum kit is kind of like it's compact. What the fuck? So I started looking, but then I found this young guy who was selling his kit, a monster mutant hybrid kind of thing. I bought the kit, and then I had an E-drum kit. That took so fucking long that I'm actually going to make this a two-part video. Okay, here we go again, but now we are going to show some actual drums. Not much playing though. Okay, here's my lovely kit. Sorry, no view from the other side since it's against the wall here. But let's take a closer look. First the bass drum. Well, the bass drum is mesh head. It's kind of like, I like it. It's more kind of like responsive, or feels more like a bass drum than those rubber pad things that some of these pads have. And it's also quite heavy. It stays on its place, doesn't travel around. Snare. And also the rim shot. Yeah, with snare I had some trouble with this since the center used to kind of like trigger much louder, but I got rid of them by adjusting some trigger adjustments. I'm sorry, I don't remember really what I did, but it's doable if you have this problem. Tones. With rims also. They are kind of small, but they fit me perfectly. This is not actually true. They are way too small. He hits the rims all the time. But let's continue. And I also like kind of like percussion to the rims. And also you may notice that I wrapped these with some wrap from local Bauhaus hardware store. They used to have this glitter red wrap that I wrapped my old set with, drum set, acoustic drum set. But that was unfortunately out, so I had to do it with this leopard giraffe thing. It's tasteless, but it suits me okay. Crash. These are from this old TD-6 set, so they are not top-of-line pads, cymbal pads. But they are just basically plates that you hit. It doesn't need so much functionality in them. They are okay, though this one has dropped this one ring underneath it. It's attached with these really small screws that I think I have accidentally hoovered away over the time, so they are lost. The ride, it's a free its own ride, bell and middle and edge, and it's quite responsive. I like that. It's one of these older ones, unfortunately, that has this white background. I don't know why they are white. It looks stupid on the other side, but, well, as I said, E-drums look stupid, so it's kind of like fits the picture there. The lovely hi-hat there, and there's also my blue Paiste Color Sound China hanging around for no apparent reason. Yeah, the hi-hat is one of the best things in this set. It's rather responsive. They say that this is kind of like the best electronics hi-hat, that it's exactly like a real thing. It's still a big lump of plastic, really, but it's okay. And also I like that you can add percussion to the edges there also. The whole thing is on thick carpet, and that's because the sound vibrates. I don't think mesh heads are with quiet. The cymbals, rubber pads, they make some noise, but nobody hasn't complained. But I know for a fact that this resonates uh, down below. I have checked on my old flat was on top of a cellar. I went to listen when my son played this, and yeah, you can hear it. Okay, yeah, that's actually true. Because I remember I was trying to play my old SPD-11 set. I had a couple of pads, and then I had this kick trigger that was against the floor. And I played, and then I went out for a smoke, and this lady who lived 2 stories down from us came out and asked me that did I hear that awful knocking sound that her 4-year-old daughter had woken up to this sound of banging, and she was really scared, and I was kind of like, yeah, that sound. So yeah, the sound travels downwards, and remember that you have to use some kind of platform if you live in an apartment. Yeah, let's continue. So this my new apartment, it's on purpose on top of office, so it doesn't bother anyone when I play uh, during. Well, now it's Corona time, so I'm also home during office hours. But hey, I wouldn't play during work time, of course. No. Um, yeah, but that's why I don't need any kind of platform or stuff like that. And then the brain, the heart, the soul, the module. TD-30, lots of stuff about it on the net, so I'm not going to get into that in many big detail. There it is, standing on its own stand. There's a lot of connectivity here, audio connectors, extra pads, mixing. There's lovely cable that connects to the mixer, nice color. USB mixing, MIDI, and all that stuff, and the actual pads. I have actually made kind of like this snake out of all these pad cables. It's wrapped in. That's not tape. That's kind of like this plastic squirrely cable connector thing. That it makes it much easier to set up the system, and there's not so many cables going all over the place because I hate cables. Well, the module. Yeah, what can I say about that? TD-30 used to be a Roland's top of the line module, not anymore, but it's still very good in many aspects. In Sega, for example, in actual playing feel, response, pad behavior, and so on. It has a shitload of drum sounds, I think over 1,000, and you can edit them. There's this modeling system. I don't know what they call it, natural V drums anyway. So you can edit many aspects of the drum sound in many ways, muffling, head type, drum size, of course, drum pitch, drum tuning, mic positioning, all that kind of stuff. Some of which doesn't affect the sound that much. Some of it affects it quite drastically. And then there's, of course, effects, many effects. Some of them, like phaser or are pretty useless, but some of them are really good. And then there's EQ, compression. So you can edit the drum sounds in many ways. Unfortunately, I'm not that much of a sound guy, so that I'm really knowledgeable about EQ and compression. So that's sometimes a bit of a problem when I kind of like try to find that sweet spot in one sound. But yeah, you can edit these in many aspects. Well, the connectivity is one thing that sold me this also, because you can record in several different channels with audio out. You can record bass drum and snare drum separately, and so on. I don't know. Actually, now there's also a possibility for USB audio. I haven't really tested that. I should, but I haven't. This may sound a little bit kind of like obvious, but I really love the fact that you can connect USB or mix in and play with songs along the way. That's kind of like, well, I'm old, so I'm of the generation that used to kind of like do this with trying to uh, listen to cassette Walkmans or on headphones while trying to play drums. So this kind of improvement, it's a really big thing. Youth of today, you don't understand how we used to have. But yeah, other stuff. Well, there's of course, lots of other options that you can set here, and instead of just drum sounds, there's a lot of sampled ethnic percussion that I think that sometimes some people think of these as a novelty, but I actually do like to play these ethnic percussion sets, and there's also some electronic sounds and so on. Uh, what's missing? Well, the main thing is that you can bring your own samples. Of course, for example, snare sound uh, is not really kind of like, yeah, I bring one sample and that's a great snare sound. Sample based modules like, for example, two box, the kind of like the snare sound is it's made of many different samples of the snare. But yeah, anyway, that's still a kind of like a thing. I would really love to kind of like bring all these weird electronic noises and stuff like that. And the other thing that I'm kind of like missing is the layering of sounds. You can't layer sounds, and that kind of like sucks sometimes. If there's some options you can have kind of like a with snares and so on. But I would love to kind of like freely kind of like, for example, mix two snares or percussion things or so on. I don't know. Even my SPD-11 had that in the early 90s. Um, well, that's something that I would like. And hey, great minds think alike. The new Roland drum modules TD-50, 27, 17 have fixed this. You can input samples, you can layer sounds that I think is pretty essential for a decent sound design. So all is fixed now if you have kind of like money to get the new module. Let's continue. Also, there's some talk about sound quality. Well, I don't know. Some of the kind of like the preset sets are really good. Some of them are pretty awful. I kind of try to create my own kits and edit them and so on. Um, and still, sometimes I don't know. Is it a psychological thing or real life? But sometimes it kind of like feels like uh, the the cymbals, the toms, percussion, that's really okay. But sometimes bass drum seems to miss a certain punch, and the snare kind of like certain small crack in it. But I don't know if it's kind of like just psychological or is it really true? And maybe I'm just mixing it a bit wrong or listening it a bit wrong. it of course electronic drums they just don't have kind of like when you play them they don't have that presence of acoustic drums. However, they are modeled. They don't come to your face like acoustic drums do. Um, Also, there's some weird shit going on in this module. Roland, for some strange reason, has kind of like invested a lot of time to make this all these uh, really cheesy sounding patterns and musical stuff there that you can program predefined kind of like bass and keyboard patterns and you can make a tone kind of like play this uh, sounds in succession. I don't know if anybody really uses it. Does anybody need those? I think they are pretty useless. Perhaps I must sometimes dig into this if I can find something useful for that. Oh, and all this shit has also been fixed in the new modules. The internal patterns are much more usable. So, yeah. But now let's finalize this. But yeah, TD-30. Yeah, I'm really happy to have it. I love playing it. It's fun. Maybe the new ones are a bit better. Uh, Development develops. So, but yes, I love it. Finally, we have kind of like reached the end of this video. If you have made it this far, I salute you. Um, but one more thing. There's always one more thing, as Columbo said. Um, when I was making this video, I was kind of like talking about the sound quality and the difficulty of making my own sets. And then I kind of like was that, why am I struggling with this? And then I went online and I researched and I found some pre-made sets, vintage sets from Drum Tech, and I bought them. And actually, I'm loving them right now. So money can fix problems. So yeah, yeah. So perhaps I'll make a video about them also. But so the next video we have actually playing in it instead of just talking about drums. Talking about drums is like dancing about architecture. Or it's not. It's actually fun. Uh, yeah, but that's so far for this video and. Subscribe, comment, and stay safe and love one another and so on and so on. So, Mr. B says bye. Yes, your glass is back if you want them.